Welcome to another Carl High Club podcast. And as usual, I've got a very special guest, but for the first time ever on the podcast, I'm airing two guests. Ha 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 ha! Right here with me today, I've got Meel Vignetting and I've got Matt from Words Don't Always Come Out Right. Did I manage to say that right?
You did,
Yeah,
yeah, both.
both.
Vignetting and words don't always come out right.
Yes. Welcome, guys.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you. It's good to be back on your show.
Yeah, I like having reoccurring guests because if you already know what the format is of the show, it's a lot easier to just be relaxed and chill out, because for some weird reason, if you invite someone to a podcast, people are like, oh no, I can't do that. And then I tell them, like, listen, we speak a lot all the time. How can you not speak with me all of a sudden? What does the word podcast, ward you off or something?
I think it's because they worry that they say incriminating things
Yeah, wrong
and
things.
then you just post it
Uh,
anyway, like you did with Fritz.
I know. But I did say to him, I am
You
gonna
did.
post it,
You did. You
and
gave him a
there's
warning.
nothing you can do because I want to keep it as authentic and real as possible.
Of
This
course.
this is where you get real. This is the real podcast over here where things get real.
The real podcast with Kyle.
Where things can get real. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
We need to make an intro like that.
I'm
uh,
gonna. Neil doesn't know it yet, and this is probably like gonna be the first time when people are gonna hear this. But I'm gonna try and commission her to make me an intro jingle for the podcast.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I would love to. I would love to.
Just a
That would be
Carla Club
awesome.
little
Wow.
jingle. Yeah.
I will play the, what do you call that again?
That would be awesome. We got like a cajon as a
Cajon,
gift
yeah, I'll play the cajon.
yesterday. How cool is that?
Oh, that's a cool gift to have.
I know, right? Yeah. So we've got
It's
all
such a
sorts of
weird
things.
instrument because it always makes me feel like I don't know if anyone else does this, but this is just me. But
Mm.
sometimes when I get out the shower, I just slap my bums a little bit just to know that I'm still alive. Like what they do with babies once they get born. And a cajon always makes me feel like I'm doing that. Like that little bum slaps.
Slapping a
Just to get the
bottom.
day,
Yeah.
just to get the day
I
going.
feel I feel it's bad for your posture, but it's a cool sounding instrument.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It is
But
very
I
bad
live
because you're like slouching the whole time.
exactly
Hmm.
and like a very weird like a skew way. So it's like yeah, it's weird. But I am excited to figure it out.
So guys, what's your plans for just life in general? I thought about this yesterday. Like most people say, I have planned my life, and this is how I'm gonna live my life. And a lot of people ask you in interviews like, what's your 5-year plan? And with things,
Hmm.
and I started thinking the other day, am I not normal for not having a plan? Because I plan my day and I plan my weeks and I plan my months ahead, but I don't really plan my life. Do you guys plan your lives?
Uh, I don't. Well, personally, I don't plan my life to the T, but there's certain things that I plan ahead. Um, but yeah, it doesn't always go that way. So, but I think it's nice to have like a goal,
Hmm.
something that drives you, and just yeah, trying to reach that. Because yeah, I don't know. It's a very weird concept because I also believe like you only have today, um, so you got to make the day count. But it's cool. It's cool to have a goal, something to work towards.
Yeah, go like a direction. I
Mm,
also think that you don't have to plan everything to the T, but you at least have to have a direction in which you're heading.
yeah,
Yeah. So like a goal at the end of the day,
yeah,
but it should be malleable as well. Should be able to
yes.
move and change with the with the times. Yeah.
I normally I found this analogy the other day, um, where I see my life as me driving in a vehicle, right? And
Mm.
I
Yeah.
am the vehicle. So you can't plan the traffic that you're gonna go into. You can't
Yes.
plan what anything else is gonna happen on the road, if there's gonna be roadworks or roadblocks or anything like that,
Mhm.
right?
Mm.
So
Taxis.
True.
the rear view mirror I see as the past, and the windscreen
Yes.
as the future. And everything in the car that I can control, like the steering wheel, the brakes, the gears, and everything, that's what I can control in my life right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm.
It's a very
if you're
good
gonna
analogy.
keep looking back in the past, you're gonna screw up on the road. You're gonna get in an accident. You can't look in the rear view mirror. It's important to look in the rear view mirror every now and then to see where I come from, where I've
Yeah.
been. And if you we it's important to look at it, if and it's important to know where I'm going. But I can't, for instance, like you guys say, do you have a common goal? Like to know at least the direction where you're going. But there's many
Mhm.
routes you can take. I
Yeah.
can't expect that there's going to be clear roads all of the time. If there's roadworks or traffic, I can take another road to get to where I need to be. But the
Mm.
things I can control in the car, the steering wheel, the mirrors, and everything, I can control that. So
Mm.
I think when people ask me, "Do you plan your life?" I see it as people asking me, I know what the traffic is gonna be like. I know what the war life is gonna throw at
Yeah.
me. I just try to
Mm.
live my life currently right now. It's like I'm gonna focus on the things I can control right now, and doesn't matter
Yeah.
what happens to me. I will be able to take an alternative route or decide I'm not gonna go on that direct. But as long as I know where am I gonna go, that's fine. Because I think for my mind personally, I don't know about you guys. When someone asks me how I plan my life, I see like by age this, I'm gonna accomplish that. By age that, I'm gonna accomplish that, and
No,
I don't feel like
I hate
that's really
that.
fair. Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah.
not. It's not fair at all. No, I agree with that, and I can kind of sort of relate to that in the sense like Bjorn being in high school now, and his dad is kind of pressuring him to kind of figure out what he wants to do so that he can, choose his subjects and whatever. And and I'm just like, well, he's like 41 now, and he's like been through so many different careers, and like at, I think 38 he decided he's going to study law. So I mean, there's no point in time in your life where you know exactly what you want to do. I think there's obviously like I've always known that I want to be a musician, and but that's that's my passion. It's not necessarily my career, and I'm still, I mean, I'm turning 39 now. I'm still trying to figure out how to bring my passion and my career together, and if that's even something that I want to do, or yeah, it's weird. So I think like massive goals is not something that you should chase. It should be like a smaller thing. Like currently our goal, and I think you have the same goal with your wife, is just to figure out a way how to be together,
Mm.
you know?
Yes.
And that's like our goal at the moment, is just to see how we can bring our lives together and be together and not apart like most of the time, if you know what I'm saying.
Mm.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
you guys have probably pinpointed what is important to you, and
Yes.
that I think is the key factor. Is like if you can identify what is important to you, and you can focus on that for now, you can, once you have achieved that, you plan the next thing, and then the next thing, versus
Exactly. Yeah.
priority.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have a son that's going to almost exit high school right now. I mean, just
I
think
know.
about it. Um, a lot of the jobs that exist right now didn't exist 20, not even 10 years ago. Some of the jobs that exist right now didn't even exist 10 years ago. So you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Who are we to say what we want to do? I'm 33 years old and I still kind of don't know what I want to do with my life because life is such an exciting thing. And if I can ask you guys a little
Exactly.
question, is like, what exhilarates you about life? What is something that really excites you about life as it is right now?
Exciting other people, I think it's something
Wow,
big for me. I know if you can um, live out your passion and instill some kind of excitement in somebody else, that's something big for me.
that's pretty cool.
I like to relate my passion to other people so that they can maybe get a spark of brightness or creativity or life or love or anything like that. You know, if
So
your
Matt, you're
passion can
also a
ignite
creator. You're
something,
also a creator. I mean, a wordsmith of sorts. And do you feel like is that one of your main objectives when you write is to try and spark um, inspiration in your reader? Is that your main focus, or what would you say is your reason for creating?
so I started creating to give out into my feelings. Everybody has like this past and present experiences that they go through, and it's always nice for me to be able to relate that into a creative piece. So just like a song, I mean,
Mm.
you write a song to get that feeling captured in that couple of minutes of music and lyrics. So that's what I try to put into my piece. But then I also try to put a lesson at the end of it, to relate it to somebody else in a way where they can see, if they are going through the same thing, that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that there is still a chance for them to find happiness and to find love, and in whatever situation they are. Just like you said, you shouldn't get stuck in your rut. You should
Mm.
always be movable and buoyant, so you can change lanes anytime. Don't get too stuck on the road. Try and enjoy the journey.
Oh.
Um, so if you I like the fact that you say that you always like to impose a lesson with regards to your
Yeah.
creativity. I feel that's kind of a medium or a format. Sorry, that's a format that is lost. I wouldn't say lost, but not as well known as we're used to because I think there's a connection to children's stories where, what did we learn today, kids? And I think if you think about that, like it sounds almost cliche, but I hate the current format where a movie or something would end, or even a short story would just end as like, well, you figure out the end now, and it's like I hate that.
Yeah.
I kind of miss the, what did I learn today? It's not something that where people say, did you get it? Did you get the meaning of this? No, here is a story. What did you take from that? And I feel there's a lot of value because we can all three watch the same movie right now and we can have mixed reviews about it. And that's
Yeah.
why I think
Yes.
there's a lot of value to it. Like, what did you take away from this piece of creativity right now? I love that.
Mm. That is pretty cool.
It is also, for me, it's important to leave a little bit of space for interpretation as well. Because everybody's situation, I mean, specifically speaking about the pieces that I write now, everybody doesn't always go through the same situation. So if you put it too cut right, then it might not relate to everybody. But I do agree with having that little bit of take home at the end of the story and say let's have like a, what do you call it, a summary of sorts, to see what we've learned. And I like to do that with my kids as well when I tell them stories. Just ask them, what's the lesson that we're getting from this? So so they remember the story, but then also have something smaller, just like a little piece of a little gem that they take from the story, and they can always keep that with them. So they
Mm,
won't always remember the story, but they will remember that little gem of wisdom that you share with them.
mm.
You guys both have got kids, and would you say, from having children, has your perspective on life in general changed the day you've got kids? I mean, for instance, it's no longer just you. There's other human beings that came from you that's in the planet right now, and your mindset that you had on life before children to exactly after children, as that is that something that changes drastically, or is it just like, oh, it's just another add-on, I can still keep going?
I think the most like prominent change is sleep. but
Definitely.
but other than that, no, it just it's the weirdest like feeling. I can't describe it to you, but it's like everything literally like from the day before when you were still pregnant to the day where you have this baby in your arms, like you can't even remember a life without them. It's like they've
That's
just
true.
always been a part of you. It's so weird. And it's something that I've been of late like experiencing with everything. Like we're all connected, like all of us to everything, like to earth, like everything. It's so weird. And once you realize that connection, it just you understand things differently. It's weird. It's I can't describe it to you, but it having kids is in my my kids. My kids are awesome. Matt's kids are awesome as well, and it's just so awesome to have them around because they teach you a lot about yourself and about the world, and it's just epic.
It is an epic journey. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. For myself, after having kids, it's it's definitely an experience that changes you in a way because yeah, you didn't necessarily understand the um, immense love that just
mm,
that can just come out of your body. You know, like when you have kids, um, it just there's this, like Meel said now, this natural connection
mm.
that you have with them that's just profound. It's like you can't really explain it. It's difficult to put it into words
Yeah,
because it's just everything that you are, they are, you know, like
It's your
they
DNA.
literally, exactly, they're
yeah.
a drop from the ocean, but they create their own oceans and their own
Mm,
lakes and their own rivers. And then to see that journey that they go through, it's amazing.
yeah,
It's
But
cause
you have
like
to be
my
open to it as well.
yeah.
um my sister has got a second child on the way, right? And she,
Oh,
Really?
yeah, now in April
It's crazy.
she's got a second child on the way. And for
Wow.
her, she said, before children, she, life was just life, and she enjoyed it and everything. But she started questioning her mortality. Like, what if something happens to me right now? What's gonna happen to my
Oh, that's
kids?
true.
And
That's
I
so true.
thought, like, wow, that's quite a bizarre. Like, for instance, I live right now, and I feel like I need to create. And I spoke to my friend Altus about this as well. Like, what is it that I leave
Mm,
behind on this planet? I'm speaking broadly for the rest of the world, but I can just imagine with kids, like, a lot of people think money first, but also, but what else do you leave behind for your children if you have to exit the planet right now? What is it that you leave behind? Is it knowledge? Is it money? Is it what is it that you find valuable within your little family? And I thought that's quite a interesting take on life. Like, yeah, because it's not just you anymore. It's
mm.
now you've got other lives involved. Like I say, you've got your pieces of your DNA that remains. What is it that you leave for them?
Yeah. I think that this is something that I, especially like um, over November, December, I thought a lot about it for personal things that I went through. And I think like the one thing that really like popped up a lot like all the time actually, was for them to know that I love them. Like that is like, I don't ever want them to wonder how I feel about them, or if, am I proud of them, or do I like them, or whatever. I just want them to know, like really know, that they are freaking awesome people and I love them so much, and I'm so proud of who they are. And I think, I mean, money is, you can leave them money, but they'll just spend it. Um,
Yeah.
and you can leave them whatever wisdom, whatever they're gonna use it or not use it. I think it's just that the love thing is the most important. Yeah.
And you, Matt?
Let the love remain. I do agree with that. So I do try and leave them with a lot of stories and experiences and all of that. But I think the most important thing is love. And there's so many ways that you can relate to them, just in your normal day to day, listening to them and being with them and making them a priority, you know. So
Mm,
there are so many ways where you can do that, and I think you need to find your space in where you can do that. But yeah, it's it's scary to think of that, the whole mortality thing. It like brings you back to today, like we said earlier. Let's live for today, because it might be the last, but show everybody that you touch, especially your children,
mm,
that how important they
I've
are today.
I've always wondered. I mean, for me currently, as someone who doesn't have children, I found it I found it really impressive, for any parent. Like I take my hat off for every single parent out there on this planet, because I struggle to, like, well, not really struggle, but I'm just saying, like, it's not easy to deal with emotions and how you feel and how you react to certain things. And sometimes I just have like a crazy off day where I don't feel like doing much, or I have a great day where I would like to go treat myself and do everything. But things like that is kind of like hard with children around. I mean, you basically cannot have a, you know what, kids, mommy
Mm.
isn't feeling right. I'm gonna go chill. You guys sort yourself out for today.
dude.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
how do you, how does it, I mean, that whole dynamic also probably changes with regards to with children, and everything. You can't have off days or anything like that. I mean, how do you, that's probably one thing I wanted to basically ask about, like, how did life change once children are in your lives? Because, things that you could do easily by yourself, there's other lives involved now too. And I just want to know,
Mm.
how did something like juggling your own emotional well-being and mental well-being change? Because children can make it either better or you can worsen the situation at the same time.
I think it's important to still have all of that and just include them, like communicate, because um I mean, being divorced, I have the kids basically for 2 weeks on end, and then they go their separate ways for a weekend. So, and generally I gig on weekends, so I don't really get like a lot of alone time and stuff. I really have to plan that. But so when I have my, for instance, when I have my monthly cycle,
Mm.
and I'm a little bit moody and stuff, I explain to them, I'm like, listen, so I'm moody. It's not your fault. I'm not upset or moody with you. You're not the one that's annoying me. I am just annoyed. Okay. So if I snap at you or something, please just know that it's not you. I'm moody, And Bjorn is okay with that now. Rainen still struggles a little bit with it. But if something like that happens, then I just apologize to him and I'm like, sorry, remember I told you I'm feeling like this. I think it's important for them also when they go out in the big world one day, to be able to interact with these like um what do you call it, like conflicting situations with
Mm.
other people. I don't want to raise my kids to be like naive to everything. So they must know like the world is rough, and everyone has ups and downs, and it's okay for people to have ups and downs, and it's okay for them to have ups and downs. And yeah, so that's what I try and do. I don't try and hide it from them. I share it with them so they know what goes on, because kids aren't stupid, they know. So rather
I feel like
enlighten them.
communication is really, really important with regards to
It
children. I
is.
mean, the sooner
Yeah.
you relay proper information and create an environment where communication is
Mm.
easy to do, I feel that's a very good point that you may mentioning over there. I mean, from early communication and knowing that I can communicate without the repercussions. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
a lot of children probably feel like they can't communicate with their parents because they'll either get in trouble or their parents won't really act or whatever like that. And I think communication from an early age is a wonderful environment.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, even if they don't understand it, just like, but
Exactly.
each kid is different as well. So you got to learn how to handle each of them individually. But
Mm.
also once you have them figured out, then they change again. So it's like a constant learning curve for all of us.
Yeah.
But I think as long as a parent is able to apologize when they make a
Mm.
mistake, that is very like that's something that I place very high in my relationship with my kids, because I never had that with my parents. And there are still so many things that I'm like, I don't know why that happened to me. And but now that I'm older, I understand my mom was probably just frustrated or whatever. But it would have helped in my childhood. It would have helped a lot if she just explained certain things to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something that I try and do with my kids that I feel is very important.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the communication also allows you to be vulnerable, and I think that's also a good thing to teach them to be
Yeah.
vulnerable and to be honest and open and relate your feelings and your emotions in
Mm.
a safe environment, obviously, because you provide them that safe environment, and then yeah, so they can live and grow and learn in a safe space.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my situation is a little uh, different from Meals, where I'm the parent on the other side. So my kids spend more time with my ex-wife than me. So I get them every other weekend,
Mm.
and then I basically get to be the fun parent because I take them on trips and I take them everywhere and I show them the world in those 3 days that I have with them. Um,
Try to pack
and
in as much as you can in the little time that
Yeah.
you
yes,
have. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, so I try and give him the lessons and the love and all of that in very condensed form, and it's difficult as well because you also go through your own emotions and your own things. But I try and also, like Neil said, communicate with them. Just tell them this is what's happening at the moment, and I hope you understand it. And if you don't understand it, let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation and discuss this. How does it make you feel? Because it's also important to listen to them sometimes,
It
like
is. Yeah.
have their view on things, because you have to remember they are different beings completely. And then the life you give up, I mean, the moments you give up in life to have these conversations with them is like completely invaluable to their growth
Mm.
and in their education, like to teach them emotional
Maturity.
maturity. Yeah,
Maturity.
because
Yeah.
Emotional maturity. That is
that's
something that the world
so
lacks,
important.
honestly. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that is if there's any advice that I can ever give to anyone, it's to teach your children emotional maturity. But it's difficult because a lot of adults don't have emotional maturity. So
Mm.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. That's where the problem is.
that
How do
is
you
it's a
Mm.
big
teach children
problem.
emotional maturity if you don't have it either?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. Exactly.
So coming back to the time spent where you have your own stuff going on, you just need to apply a little emotional maturity to that as well. So
Mm.
you can have your own things, your own time, do your own things, but just relate it to their experience as well, because I always remind myself of this, and it's something that I need to tell myself very often. You should remember that their lives are like very short, so the experiences they have are massive for the scale of their life. You know,
Yeah.
be it my boy is 5 years old and my girl is 8. So I mean, in his 5 year life, a day is big, you know. So
Mm.
every experience that he has is like it's a big part of that small little life. So you should make it count. So I try and make the days count and the time spent count for them.
And children doesn't have a concept of tomorrow or in a month's time or in a year's time. Like my sister's boy is 4 years old right now. I can't tell him, oh, we'll do this in March, or you know,
No,
or we're
I
gonna do
don't
this next
understand
week.
that.
Like no, tomorrow, you know, because that's all they have. And I kind of love that about children. It's like, well, we've got now. Why can't we do it now? You know, that concept of time doesn't exist, and that's why I started off this conversation with you guys with planning your lives and everything like that. I kind of like I went through a season, and I spoke to boss about this too, where
Mm,
I saw myself as an inner child, and treating myself like a child. And
mm,
children, that's got like everything is amazing, everything is beautiful, everything is let's do this now. Where have we lost that?
I
And
don't know.
Fritz said we grew up because we don't want to get hurt anymore. When you play, you get hurt, and you don't want to get hurt. So your mindset changes. Where children don't care if they get. I'm gonna cry, and but children, they laugh because things are funny. They cry because this thing hurt. We mask our
Yeah.
emotions and everything. We don't want to get hurt, but when we get hurt, as adults, we just get up and go forward. I mean, in essence, we should be better off. We should have more, lust for life as adults. And it's kind of like,
Yeah.
how did these roles get reversed?
I think it's also we as a kid, like I mean, I can see with my kids if I say something to them, like the impact it has on them, and I think that also plays a big role because as you're growing up, when you're a kid, like you a little bit more forgetful. So when and it comes down to hurt, like you don't realize how much these things hurt you when other people say things to you like, don't do that, don't act like that, why are you like that, like what's wrong with you and stuff like that. And I think it's stuff like that where people who can't deal with your vibrant personality kind of knock you down because that's their way of like kind of dumbing you down. I think it's all of those kinds of things that kind of change that as we grow up and we lose that essence because that's also where that whole thing comes in eventually. When you're a teenager, like, oh, I have to wear this and I have to be cool and I have to do this to fit in and whatever. And instead of us teaching our kids like just always be who you are and stuff like that, we kind of tend to tell them no, do this, no, do that, be like this, be like that.
Mhm.
So I think that also plays a big role in becoming adult
Yeah.
instead of just becoming a big child.
And for me as well, for myself in my own experience in life, I mean, I was never taught how to deal with emotional situations. You know, like you go through emotional things. You don't have a platform necessarily with your parents to discuss these things that happen to you.
Mm,
So you relate it to
yeah,
your own short little life, and you make of it what you would then, you know.
mm,
And sometimes the things we make of it isn't really healthy. So
yeah,
you get unhealthy, you get into unhealthy patterns of dealing with things. And my unhealthy pattern would be to just cut myself off. You know, I would feel hurt in a situation, and then I would become blunt. I
yeah,
would cut myself off
Mm.
in a sense from those experiences, from those people, from those things, instead of um, if I could talk to my younger self now, I would tell my younger self, just lean into it, you know, have the conversation, tell these people, you know, you're hurting me in this specific way. Let's talk about this and understand where we both come from. Like, let's deal with the situation
Mm.
instead of just putting it in a satchel and carrying it along for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Let's unpack it and let's um, and take it apart
I
and
think
see
that's
Yeah.
what's happening.
I think that is the uh, the keyword over there with regards to just we carry all of these things along with
Mm,
us, this whole entire planet, and we don't realize. I've been carrying this weight in my backpack through life. There's all of this time, these rocks
mm,
that I feel I need to carry along instead of like unpacking, like what in this, like to use it as a metaphor right now, everything that, let's say you put everything in your life that you learn in this backpack that you carry with you. And if you don't unpack it every now and then, you realize this thing isn't any relevant anymore because I have got this in my life,
Yeah.
thinking, and now I don't have to carry all of these things anymore because now I've got this. So why even bother carrying it around? And we don't really have a platform or realize that we can unpack it or it's hard to get rid of certain things or let go of certain things because I think humans are very sentimental
Mm.
yeah.
and we carry certain things around because it reminds us of things. And that's why when I said like my little car, the past is that little rear view mirror. I can't look in that rear view mirror the whole entire time anymore. I need to focus on the future.
Mm,
And
yeah.
Mm.
there's a fine line between being nostalgic and sentimental and well, because that we use words like sentimental value. Okay, great.
Mm.
This was this person's and whatever, but how does this function in my life? Do I need it or not need it? And that brings us
Exactly.
back to prioritizing. And that
Mm.
can only happen, like you said, Matt, if you actually sit down and unpack what has
Mm,
practical and emotional value in my life right now that keeps me
yeah,
going
yeah.
instead of slowing me down.
Yes, yeah.
Dude,
Way
it's so crazy because that's exactly where I find myself in life at the moment. Like, I've got so many things going on, and it just feels like everything is dragging me down. And I've literally been saying to Matt for what, the last month,
mm,
I need to decide what I'm going to let go and what I'm going to carry on with because I can't carry on with everything. And it's really like it's sucking me dry. Like, I am so tired. And it's so important to just take a step back and assess the things in your life. And, you know, and it's not about what it sounds very selfish to say what benefits me. But at the end of the day, I can't keep giving to everyone. I need to focus on me because if I'm an empty vessel, I cannot give, you know? And yeah.
I was listening to the podcast with Fritz and you, Kyle, as well, and something that I remember from there is when you mentioned the culture that we're living in, this fast paced rat
Mm,
race culture,
Yeah.
and I think this culture teaches us. Um, Going back to what we said in the beginning, what goals do we have? It teaches you need to have this goal driven mind, and you need to have so many things that you're invested in, and you need to apply yourself to everything in life so beautifully. But you can't always do that. You can't always
mm,
split yourself into all of these things, and then I think that's where all of our issues comes from, is that we try and chase too many things at the same time.
and we try and keep everyone else happy
You're
except
trying to keep
ourselves.
everyone
Yeah.
happy, so you're basically giving them just like a drop or just a piece of yourself, whereas if you applied yourself correctly, you could
Mm.
give them more and more focused and more meaningful um,
But,
experiences and
Mm.
I
but
mean
what's the
for yourself
use?
as well.
What's the use? We live in a fast-paced life, and you want to live a fast-paced life with fast-paced goals, but you've been carrying this backpack full of rocks around with you this whole time. You need to be light on your feet then. You can't be slowed
Yeah,
down by the past if you want to live fast paced goals. That's also another thing to
exactly.
look at, a way to look at it. Like,
Mm.
okay,
Yeah.
I live in this culture, in this world where I've got, you know, temporary goals, and everything is, I need to be able to be light on my feet, but you can't go run a marathon with a duffel bag full of lead in it.
Yeah.
No, you can't. You can't. And I also think that also contributes to growing up and losing your childlike wonder. It's because you, like, everyone has these expectations of you, and that's where things start getting wonky,
Mm.
because your parents expect you to do this, and your grandparents expect you to do this, your friends expect you to do
Why
this,
aren't you
and
married? Yeah,
uh,
anymore? Why aren't you married?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, yeah,
There's so
you
many
know,
things.
and
So, so many things.
it's bad, like, no one just lets you be you. They put all these rocks in your backpack, and you just carry on with it. And it's sad. It's very sad. I think it's important for people to realize the pressure they put on other people, and it boils down to expectation. I can't be mad at Matt because I have an expectation, and that's an unrealistic expectation for him, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So, and I'm putting weight on his shoulders because I expect something from him, but if he's not capable of, and that's something we need to understand in all forms of relationship. Like, you can't, a person is who a person is, and if you can't deal with that, then it's fine. You don't have to like everyone, and everyone doesn't have to like you, but you have to respect that. You can't make it a bad thing. Like, you can't, like, I don't like this person, so I'm gonna put a rock in their backpack. Just
yeah,
because someone is different to you and you don't maybe get along, it's fine. It shouldn't be a thing. Or just because I expect something of you and it's like an unrealistic thing for you, I can't be upset with you, and we need to respect that
Mm.
about each other.
Yeah, it needs to be a mutual thing, and that's
Yeah,
that's what's important, because I can respect the hell out of the next person, but they don't necessarily understand my point of view or
exactly.
respect
mm,
my point of
Yeah,
view,
because no one
and
is
that's
mindful. That's
yes.
why
So
everyone is.
mindfulness is so important
Yeah.
in that sense, because if everybody was just like at a base level of I respect you as the next person,
Mm,
as I expect myself to be respected,
mm,
then we would have had such a great society. I
mm.
mean, in all terms. I want to read you something, Kyle. I don't know if you mind the plug. I'm gonna plug some poetry.
please,
I'm gonna
please
plug some poetry.
plug
So it's
the
something I
poetry.
it's something I wrote on the 5th of July 2019.
Yeah,
So it was basically a long night, deep thoughts, a lot of feelings that I was going through, and then this is what I wrote. When you reach that age, the age you decided on back then, when you had the world penned, lists in hand and twists all planned, you sit here now alone, taking a sip of your bitter coffee, because that's just who you came to be. All your joys dubbed guilty pleasures. You should have given yourself a break back then, when you set yourself up, breathed more, not always chasing what lies behind the next door. So yeah, that's it.
Wow, profound.
dude, that part of your joys are now guilty pleasures. I mean,
Yes, that's what we do.
wow, goosebumps,
Yes.
dude. Like, for instance, like, when did we decide that the things that we enjoy are now something we need to be calling guilty pleasures? That's crazy. We don't live with that unbridled exhilaration. Why?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautifully said. Yeah. So we
Um,
Yes.
just need to be kids again. We need to find the joy and the peace and the love, and
Yeah.
you
but
know try and
uh,
relate to everybody else.
I think and I had a conversation with my friend Kate here in Cape Town. People call her, say she's cold. She's a cold human being, and she's very analytical, and she's very
Mm,
Mm,
precise. Precision is the word that comes to mind when I think about her. And people normally
mm,
portray her as cold, but
yeah.
she is the sweetest. human being that you'll ever meet, like a very near dear friend of mine, and we've been like friends since high school, right? And she don't portray herself in a certain manner. Like for instance, I know in previous relationships, people like she was in, people called her she was cold and everything, and then she
Mm.
would refrain from doing something because she's scared of being called something. So now the
Mm.
walls that she built, like these walls that we have to, because we don't want to get hurt, are
Mm.
built out of other people's insecurities. Now
Exactly.
we
Oh
are
my word.
we're basically protecting ourselves from the world with these walls, but every single brick in that wall is someone else's insecurity. So do you realize how
So true.
ironic that is?
Mm,
Yeah.
yes, that
It's quite
unrealistic
messed up.
expectations that people have of us.
Mm.
It's those bricks that we mortar and pestle
Yeah.
into our walls.
It's terrible. Oh my
Um,
word. Yeah.
No, no,
It's
I
such a
don't
sad
live my
state.
life a certain way because I'm scared what other people are gonna think about it when I do this, and I'm not gonna
Mm.
do it because normally people see me as something, and now I can't live life like I want to
Yeah.
because other people has said things to me and done things to me because of the way I reacted, and now I'm scared to just be myself because
Yeah.
of the planet.
It's crazy what society's become, honestly.
yeah.
And just to get back to sorry, the story keeps popping up in my head, but back to like when we were kids. So Raynon last year in the beginning of first grade, he had like a kid in his class that was like just very difficult.
Oh yeah, I remember you
And
telling me, yeah.
yeah, so the teacher phoned me and she's like, no, there's this kid and like he's bullying like a bunch of kids, but he's getting physical like with Ryan, like he actually like hit him and stuff, you know. And so obviously with Ryan's condition, we were like freaking out a bit. So we went to see the principal just to explain to him the seriousness of the matter, you know, because God forbid something happens to Raynon, you know, and he has to go back for surgeries or whatever. So anyway, long story short, the principal tells me that this child's dad kind of basically ran out on them, and it's only him and the mom, and the mom is very young and inexperienced, and she doesn't really have anyone that's helping her, and blah 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 blah. And long story short, so I like try and explain this to Raynon because I don't want him to think that he is the problem, you
Mm.
know. So I explained to him that this kid is lashing out because he's sad. And he's sad because his dad is gone and he's dealing with a lot of things. So I just want Raynon to understand so that he can have a bit more compassion towards
Mm.
this child. And then the next day goes to school, and then when I fetch him in the afternoon, I ask him, "So how was the day with this kid?" And he's like, "No." He went up to him and he said to him, "Hey, I know your dad left." And I immediately flipped because I was like, "Shit, dude, you can't do that, you know."
So
And
innocent.
he looks at me like all weird and he's like, "Why?" I'm like, "No, just I don't want you to spark any anger in him." And he's
Mm.
like, "No, he actually like this child started crying and he said to him, 'Yes, my dad left.'" And now they're like friends now.
Oh
You
wow.
know? So and that's the thing, like we always like we have that scare thing, like I don't want to approach something because what if that it's
Mm.
that expectation, you know.
Yeah.
But if we show a little bit compassion and we're like, hey, I can see that, you know, you've got something
Mm.
that's bugging you. I know you're lashing out because there's something else bugging you. Like, let's talk about it. Like, you know, we might get a different reaction than we expect,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And that's so like it was so cool when he looked at me like, there's something wrong with me for freaking out, and he's like, what, we're like friends now.
No, I think what Matt said it earlier is that mindfulness. If you can
Yes,
Mm.
yeah,
if you can be mindful enough and say, listen, hey, I know you're struggling with X.
yeah,
I'm sorry. So what Rainan, we basically, I laugh now. I'm like, haha, you can't say that. But actually, what Rainan did was he's so mindful. He went up to like, listen, I know you're
yeah,
struggling with your dad leaving. Hey man,
yeah,
what's going on? And I think that level of mindfulness, a lot of people be like, hey, if you ever want to talk, I'm here. there's a lot of value in that, but
There
it's
is, yeah.
broad. It's broad, you
Yeah.
know. But if
Mm.
you're mindful
There-
enough to say, listen, I know you're struggling financially and you
Yeah.
have a lot going on with X and Y. If you ever just want to come talk, then because that I feel that mindfulness, as vulnerable as it may be, that person actually realized, like, listen, this person actually spent enough time to know what it is that's bothering me. And I think there is a lot of value in that type of mindfulness.
There is.
So beautifully said, Kyle. So beautifully said.
Now it's so we're having a moment.
Oh my god. Are you guys like staring into each other's eyes while I'm like blaring about mindfulness? We're so mindful, aren't we?
We're being mindful. We're just being mindful.
No, we had like a similar conversation this morning. So
Mm.
it's just affirmations, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Mm.
It's
Uh,
very cool. Thank you,
Thanks,
Kyle.
Kyle.
you know what? You're welcome.
You you have to be open to these moments to experience them. And I think
Ah,
Yeah.
we
exactly. If you're not open to
found
it,
that in each
Yeah.
other in a big sense.
I think that is the coolest thing
That
is
is
like how we've like
just connected.
yeah, it's crazy. Sorry, we're off topic now.
please go ahead. Like I'm just listening now. Please continue.
Okay, so we can make out, yeah.
Yeah, go for it. And now for a live makeout session. So
First time on Kyle High.
first time, yeah, like live makeout. I'll have a
Oh,
little segment.
this is why we don't do deal interviews, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because people just keep making out the whole time, every single time.
Yeah.
No matter who it is, they
Oh,
just start making out, and I can't even talk to them anymore.
and then you just sit there like, crick, crick.
Yeah, like awkwardly just sitting here. um,
Time for an ad break.
Yeah.
this
Oh,
podcast is brought to you by Cherry Lips Lip Balm.
oh, I love
We
it.
can get some investors.
Yeah, I think we
Exactly.
should. Yeah.
Make
So
out with cherry lips.
one thing that I actually want to ask about, and I don't know if you guys have it, if it's a secret, if we're allowed to
Oh,
talk about it, or if it's an
yeah.
inside thing that's not allowed outside. But I'm gonna say it, and you guys can tell me, Kyle. We don't want to talk about it on your podcast, but
Okay.
so I've been seeing how these two have been sending each other different numbers and infinity signs and 5 + 5 = 1 and all kinds of things. Like I'm intrigued. I think it's got something to do with angel numbers and information in the universe and all of those things,
Yeah.
but that's what I gathered from that. But do you guys want to talk about it?
Well, yeah, you know me, I've always been like very into numerology and stuff. And it's something that previous partners haven't always really embraced. So it's something that I've always had to like kind of keep hidden. Um, yes, I've been called a witch and like weird things and psychotic and especially weird. But I think meeting Matt, um, yeah, it's just like he kind of embraces my weirdness, which is cool, and he's equally as weird as I am, and it's just nice to have someone embrace these things with me, and yeah, like it's cool how numerology has kind of find its way. Like he's just been noticing the things as well, and we've just made it like a part of our relationship, which is pretty
Mm.
cool. Yeah,
It's
Yeah, and I don't see it
adorable.
as weird. I don't see it as weird at all. I see it as beautiful because I look at it in a different way.
yeah.
Um,
He understands it.
yeah, so
Yeah,
so I feel it, and that's why I can take part in it.
yeah,
And she allows me to take part in it by being open and honest about it. So I mean, there's so much at play here. We can write chapters about this.
Yeah, no, I just feel like I can sense. I mean, what I gathered from it is like you guys found something that connects you, and to tell someone to say something without saying it, and that's
Mm.
why I think it's adorable because I can
Yeah.
Yeah.
feel. I don't know what it is that's going on over there. Like I don't want to
Can
sit.
you feel the
The
love
love
tonight?
tonight. No, so I'm not in your relationship, but
Uh,
I can feel, I can sense the energy that's happening from you two,
Mm.
and that's why I thought like I wanted to say something about it. That's why I also made a little poke funny remark about it too. But you know, it's only because it's cute and it's adorable, but I can feel the energy and I love it because you guys found a way to interact with each other and say it all without saying it, and I think that is really cool. I think, for instance, me and my wife, we basically have a long distance relationship from here to there, and we get creative with,
yeah.
we send each other emails. I've created a TikTok that only she follows, and I can put videos and descriptions on
Oh,
there and things,
that's
and
cool.
I feel that's fun, and that keeps it alive, especially when you can't see someone regularly. You need to keep
Yeah.
creative when how to keep the spark alive, you know.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, our distance is not as far as you guys, but we also have a bit of distance, and yeah. So we also need to get creative, but that energy is such a important thing because the energy between us is melting my brain. It's pretty cool. And it's like, when you've like always like you've been searching for something all your life and you've been praying for something all your life, and then all of a sudden this dude walks into railways, and it's like boom, wow, what is this? The energy just kind of knocks you off your feet. And
And it's
not
completely
even,
mutual, though.
yeah, that was the weird part because he's so out of my league, honestly. It's crazy. I
Never.
I never in my
Oh
life thought
my
it
life.
that yeah, I never thought that you would feel this way about me.
Guys, you guys.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I've come to the point in the podcast where I'm going to start wrapping up,
Okay.
and I'm going to ask you both if you could leave a little piece of something. You can say anything to anyone out there on the planet. You leave your little timestamp on this podcast, and we can start with meal ladies first. What would you?
Why?
Mm,
Okay, fine,
I'm not
Matt.
a lady.
okay, I'll take it first.
Fine.
I'm not a lady.
Because Mule is already on my podcast. So, Matt, if you
Yes.
could leave something for absolutely anyone on this planet, on this podcast right now, what would it be?
I think it would be to open yourself up. Open yourself up to new things, to the world as you might not be able to see it at the moment. So open yourself up to new experiences. Open yourself up to love and to seeing what's happening behind the scenes for the people in your life. So open
Mm.
yourself up,
Mm,
open your eyes, and see a little deeper. But
Open your heart.
open your heart, yeah.
mm,
Yeah.
Open your heart, open your mind. Don't get caught in the convention that we are um, taught from a young age. So convention is there um, to interpret. So have your own interpretation of that and open yourself up to everything else.
Thank you, Matt.
Do not get caught in convention.
mm.
That is very important. Not
Yes.
it's okay to go have a peek, but don't get caught there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Little
Yes.
kookaloo, you know.
Try everything and keep the
Yeah.
good.
And
Definitely.
you, Meal?
I would say do not give up on love. That is something that I realized. Yeah. Don't give up on love and be mindful. Be mindful.
And don't
Yeah.
give up on on the big fight, which is love.
Mm.
Mm.
And life. Don't give up on life. Yeah. It's
Meel and Matt, Meel and Matt, Matt and Meel and Matt. Thank you for coming to my podcast and sharing your lives and interesting stories and viewpoint. Matt, thank you for sharing that poem on the podcast. I really appreciate it. And I would just like to thank you both for your time at the same time. And just wanted to say to you, stay happy and be inspired.
Thank you. Thanks
Thanks,
for having
Kyle.
us.
Yes,
Always fun
definitely.
chatting to
Thank you
you.
for the opportunity.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm.
Thank you guys and have a beautiful day ahead. Cheers.
You
You too,
too.
Kyle.
Bye.
Cheers.